Hello there, great person, and welcome back to Let's Dive into Warhammer 40K. Today we will continue to try to understand what exactly the God King of mankind is, what happened during all the years that I have no idea about. And before we start, thanks to all of you for the many comments, and also for there were so many comments and that were pretty long and detailed, and that gave me a lot more information. So thanks for taking the time to give me some additional information, and thanks so much for welcoming me into this community. And we will just now see what exactly happened in the Terra Magicus. What is it? What is it called? What is it called? The Age of Terror. The Age of Terror. So we will see what happened in the Age of Terror with the Great God Emperor. And let's just go. So remember to like his video, because he's doing a fine job in explaining the stuff. Like, I get most of it. And let's just go.
We would now reach the time known as the Age of Terror. This was the period on Earth from the 1st to the 15th millennia, that is the first 15,000 years on old Earth. A period of extreme technological expansion, from a pre-industrial era to that of fusion power and travel beyond our planet and even solar system. Okay, so someone told me that they found something on Mars. I joked about it last time, but apparently they really found something on Mars. Okay, pretty cool stuff. So I assume they colonized Mars first, and then they spread out to probably, what would I colonize? One of Jupiter's moons was probably the next stop in colonization, and then, you slowly leave the solar system. So, and then probably bad stuff happened. Humanity would first colonize new worlds within our system, first on Mars and then the moons of Jupiter, before mankind would start.
I know my stuff. I love it. Because this is something I know a bit about, because I'm a physicist. I know a bit about this stuff, so that's logical. Because Jupiter's moons are pretty Earth-like. If you take it with if you take it very broadly, But that's what I would have done as well. So that's actually pretty cool, pretty logical. See, okay, so it's as I thought, the biology stuff seemed plausible, and what they tell me now here also pretty plausible. Kudos to you writers, you are awesome. You're so awesome. I can't believe I got that right.
Start to look at how we could travel beyond. To achieve this next goal, colossal starships were created for humanity to cross the voids between solar systems, and powerful engines. At this time, these advanced fusion drives enabled very, very fast but still sublight travel.
Okay, so basically they use generation ships. This here is obviously a what's it called? Oh god, what is this one called? I'm sorry, I forgot the name. It's a spaceship that rotates, so you've got through the angular momentum, you've got acceleration, and there's gravity here, so that's why they are built inside. And if someone can remind me of the name in the comments, that would be nice. But yeah, this is pretty feasible, probably. I think in Contact with Rena, the book, is something like this. So that's pretty feasible. Fusion drives, probably a good idea. Can get you far, and also you have to consider you just have to get going. You just have to accelerate to a certain velocity, and then it stays that way because of inertia. You don't have to constantly fuel it. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool. Yeah, but they live there on generation ships, so sublight travel. Yeah, sublight travel can be pretty bad. Yeah.
This meant in order to reach their destination, it could take anything as long as 10 generations of human lifespan to reach their destinations.
Pretty cool.
Subsequently, trade and aid between human colonies was then extremely difficult, and would lead to them being established almost as independent states. Very little is known of this period, as imperial records are fragmented and limited. The emperor during this time had no reason to interfere, and so would continue his own work and research back on Earth. Study and the improvement of man, all the while remaining in the shadows.
Yeah, okay, so he was like, nope, not gonna go into space, my mission is here. And then he started his biological research. And probably the first ideas came to him about the Space Marines, the Astartes creation, I guess.
During the period between the 1st and 15th millennium, various events of discovery and importance took place that would finally propel us to create our first interstellar confederation in the 15th millennium. One of the most important events of note would be during M4. Humanity would discover the warp and begin to research it.
Ah, I so hope we get more on warp. Warp is such a cool concept. Like it's like this mind field, something like that. Someone explained it to me, or some people, like not just one. You explained it to me before, but it's like it's this mind field that just like, yeah.
This is specifically relevant as it would have been one of the discoveries that would lead the Emperor to understanding the necessity of him coming into the fore.
Oh, so it was the warp discovery. Cool. Very nice. So warp. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, because then this psychic stuff started happening and we were not only in danger from like people that hit us really hard, but also that think at us really hard. So I guess that's where he stepped in. I see. So my question was answered, and nice.
As we reach the 15th millennium, humanity would enter a golden age of technology. This would be the highest point in mankind's technological achievements. It would last for some 10,000 years, and humanity continued its rise in technology, science and power, spreading and colonizing mankind all across the Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah, so if you have a warp drive, you have, of course, faster than light travel. And if you have faster than light travel, the communication problems they just mentioned are obviously getting not as bad as they are, like or like they don't stay as bad as they are. Like if you have 10 generation chips, like what's that, 30 times 10? Let's say generations 20, like 200 years. So it takes 200 years to bring one message from one place to the other. I mean, they could have entangled communication, like they could use quantum entanglement, but then they could communicate, but they can't like physically interact with each other. Like they still have the distance, and with warp you don't have that anymore. So that means you can flourish. Yeah, I'm not sure how far we are on warp research. I think we are pretty far down the line. I think last year and the year before there have been some breakthroughs where they started developing warp drives, though on the like theoretical basis only. But yeah, they are starting to solve problems they have. So very cool stuff.
We could create our first galactic empire, ruled from Earth, the homeworld, and establish massive trade networks that further powered expansion and advancement. This earlier period in the Age of Technology has a subtitle known as the Stellar Exodus. This marks the time when humanity made its first colonies on other worlds, and also beyond the solar system. These initial colonies were reached using the ships that were still only capable of sublight speeds and were restricted by this, as well as our developing but limited knowledge of building these vast scale ships.
Yeah, but the picture here shows a warp gate or like a stargate, something like that. So this is a wormhole, which is another kind of drive. So I guess this is just something artistic he put in because, yeah, obviously you don't, like, you technically fly sublight speed through a warp gate, but I mean, it's a wormhole, so.
When these ships reached their destination, though, they would be then slowly deconstructed and the materials used to build the colonies. Some would become manufactorums capable of producing massive war machines, or then back then, defensive machines. Things such as Imperial Knights and even Titans, which the colonies would use to defend themselves against the dangers of the galaxy.
Okay, so they imply here already that there are things in the galaxy they are aware of. Like, why would you deconstruct your ships into, like, giant mecha killers or whatever this is? Like it looks like a proto-dreadnought, or perhaps like a proto-space marine armor. I'm not sure, something like that. So the only reason you would put so much budget into military is if you are having, I guess, reasonable doubts about your survival, I think. And yeah, perhaps they also were afraid of each other. So that might be something to consider here, but yeah.
In a comparable way to early colonies on Earth, this meant they had to be self-sufficient, and due to the large timescales involved before anyone would likely reach out to them again, they would develop their own cultures and languages, largely influenced by the noble families established on these interstellar voyages, as well as physical elements on the new homeworld. The planet's characteristics would also shape the way in which their societies would evolve.
Yeah, okay, two things to that. First, why would they develop nobility on the ships? Like, was it like the rulers? Like like if a spaceship has a mayor and the mayor like stays the same all the time, why make it like that? Why not a vote or something? Like, but I guess they needed people who control it. Perhaps they were putting the people with the most knowledge in power, and then genetically that like stayed that way. Like the families that are intelligent stayed I have no clue. That is something I don't understand, but perhaps someone can tell me if you know. But yeah, of course they have to adapt to the worlds they visit. Like if you visit a lava world, of course you can't like go in there with pelts and like try to build igloos or whatever. I mean, of course. So anyway.
Now, some 6,000 years later, around the period of Millennium 21, mankind now began a process of militarization. It is not known who or for what reason created this process or started it off, but along with our expansion and colonization of planets, we also began to expand and develop our weapons and forces.
You know what would be really cool? If obviously we don't know because they don't tell us, but if it was like, because there are like these weird strange hints on several worlds that something terrible is out there, you know, that there is like something that is undoubtedly evil, at least from the perspective of the colonists, and then there come the rumors, and the rumors spread like slowly through the worlds, but then the same rumors from different worlds like collide on worlds, and they are getting afraid and don't know what's out there. Wow, that will be so badass. I hope we learn that later. I hope it's just that he's not telling us here.
Fragments of what was developed during this age of technology, such as Imperial Knights, Titans, Land Raider designs and so on, would later be recovered by the Imperium far into the future. The largest proportion, however, would be lost to the tides of time, and we can only imagine or hope to continue recovering these lost and most powerful of technologies in the 41st millennium.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we are talking about huge time scales here, and I'm not exactly sure how long things last, but I know like 10,000 years and things are gone. Like I watched a documentary about that once, and with documentaries, like it was a German-produced documentary, and sometimes they're shit. So I don't know if it was correct, but I assume it was. So I think it was like 10 or 20,000 years, and then like things corrode and erode and stuff like that. So I'm not sure though. So if there's a chemist in the comments, tell me. But I think, yeah, like things just decompose. Like look at circuitry, like that will not last long. Like yes, the gold will stay, but like all the like components, alloys, whatever, they will just probably slowly corrode, I guess. Like if you talk about such vast spans of time.
Humanity had risen to a period of immense power through our technology. And whilst the Emperor of Man existed, he had not made himself known to mankind. He continued to bide his time, lying in the shadows, studying, planning, observing. Okay, so this is probably, they have not yet discovered warp, I guess. Because he said before that warp was what made him active. So this is probably still a time where they did not have warp. I mean, otherwise, why would they use sublight ships, you know? The very fact that the Emperor is one of the few who would live through.
Wow, look at that. That looks so badass. That is such a cool design. Like it looks like stalagmites, but this is like a giant cannon, and wow. Like I admire artists that can draw something like this. Like it's so complex and so many details. Some would say this is like overload, but I don't think so. Like I like pictures like this where, you know, you can discover so much detail, like these domes here and the moons in the sky here. It's so cool. So cool.
This time and on into the age of the Imperium, and this would then have far-reaching implications for humanity, as the Emperor would carry his knowledge and strength of this golden age into a time when none would recall it. and where it would be of critical importance to our survival.
Yeah,
For the Emperor, he would use this knowledge of the age of technology to bring humanity back to a glimmer of what once had been.
Yeah. So the Emperor, that as well, because the Emperor lives so long, he is like an arc. Arc? Do you call it arc? Yes, arc. A-R-K. You know? He's like an arc. Like a living arc that transcends the flow of time. So through him, we can still, like, as long as he's alive, we still have our history intact forever. Or, like, not forever, but until he's dead. That's pretty cool. Like, that's a pretty neat idea as well. And of course, he's like this entity that's probably very weird and very alien to my understanding. But he is probably, yeah. What information does he even give out? Like will he give out all the information? Will he choose to let the people be in the dark? Like, is that something he would do tactically because he would prevent something else or whatever? I don't know. Because we've not yet heard anything about his character. Like, how is he? Like, is he alien? Like, behavior-wise, or is he just a cool dude? Or what's his thing? Like, we've seen these angel pictures, or I have. I mean, you probably know a lot more, but I've seen these angel pictures, so I assume he's like very stoic, very powerful, very pristine, but who knows? You do, I don't.
In the thousands of years where humanity established its first interstellar empire, we would become, as much as the Eldar, supremely dependent on technology. Humankind had risen to a level of godlike understanding, and this was embraced and practiced by the people of the time. The empire of mankind was seen as a bastion of technological achievement and began to use a new class of humans entitled the Navigators to expand our reach and use the newly discovered warp to travel beyond the distances of existing star drives and cover vast distances in a short time.
Okay, so now we've got guild highliners from Dune. Yeah, I know someone told me that this is a lot Dune-ish, which I love. Like, I discovered Dune like 1.5 years ago, and it was a blast to read the books. Like, I'm still reading, like, I'm on book 6 currently. I'll do the review down the line, of course. Yeah, the idea that we need people to guide us through this weird space travel thing. Like in Dune, it's the highliners that are like the space folding is done by the navigators, but here it is like they have this warp, I assume. So this is just my theorizing and hypothesizing. So they have this warp, and because it's emotion and stuff, they need like thinking minds. Like, it can't be a machine because a machine doesn't have emotion. So humans or living minds have to navigate it. So that's what I get from this. Yeah.
A navigator's role is to, as the name suggests, protect and guide a ship through the tides and dangers of the warp. Eventually, over time, humanity would find the warp had become too turbulent to traverse. But in this time, navigators, they're not strictly psychers as such. They possess a special gene called, unsurprisingly, the navigator gene.
Okay.
They also possess other abnormal characteristics, including a third eye in the forehead, as well as some...
I'm sorry, this is a bit off topic, but this looks better than Doctor Strange did. I mean, I've only seen the pictures, I've not seen the movies, but I've seen this picture of Doctor Strange and people were like laughing about it, like the CGI, and this looks so badass. Like, look at this old dude, like he's probably seen so much in his chair, thinking into the warp and like giving himself into the warp. And why the third eye, I don't know. In the last picture we saw, it was like glowing red, so why? But very, very, very cool stuff. Very, very nice. And I love the designs. This looks so natural.
More alien appearances, such as no pupils in their human eyes and translucent skin, as well as maybe larger than normal appendages.
So their
origin is believed to have not
from
been a natural development, but to have come about through genetic experimentation and engineering in this period of the age
so it's
of
different from
technology.
Dune. I like that.
It was likely that mankind discovered the warp and that it could be utilized for crossings, but that required a safe means to traverse it, and looked to create a solution to that problem. Mankind's age of expansion and technological glory across the galaxy would lead to many worlds requiring their own localized defense forces. In this time, humanity's mastery of technology was largely unequaled, and this would be employed in the defense and relative growth of the colonies.
Okay, so what would the information missing here to me to really place this is how far advanced, I'm sorry, which other races have they encountered yet? Like, have they encountered Elder? Because from the way Elder were described before and from the way some comments talked about the Elder were like this great technological race. And if I'm wrong, just correct me, because I might have gotten this wrong. I know that Tau, are they called Tau? Tau, the gray aliens with the robot suits. I don't know. I think they were the Tau. Are they called Tau? Whatever. They were highly technologically advanced, but so like compared to what were they the best?
One of these defense forces, one of the most powerful of them, would be the Imperial Knights. These were colossal war machines that towered over all they surveyed on a battlefield. They were built with the knowledge of the Golden Age of technology, and these giants survived until the Imperial Age, but they can essentially no longer be constructed from scratch. And as is often the case with technology in the Imperium, it is now merely maintained.
Yeah, okay, so they can't, like, because they don't understand it, they can't make adjustments. And of course, this is a very well-written story, at least as far as I am concerned. So there's not this one scientist dude that's, yeah, I've spent my whole life on this, and now I'm the only one that can put in 2 wires and then it works. You know, this trope. I mean, it's cool in some stories, but in something as realistic as this, like it's trying to be very realistic, which I love. Not seen this this well done. So yeah, that's like very cool that's not the case. They just don't have people like that. It's like they're effed. They can just do. They can just prevent this from decomposing, I guess. But perhaps even that is hard. So.
Imperial Knights themselves were operated by nobles from the colony worlds who would be entombed within them. They are sworn to protect their citizens from all Xenos threats and the endless nightmares in the universe. As the Knights would advance into the later ages, they continued their noble values and morals. Some of the Knights are the most selfless and dedicated forces within the Imperium, as well as being some of the oldest.
Okay, so they're still in the Imperium, or is he talking about what later was known as the Dreadnoughts? Because that is obviously Dreadnought precursor. I mean, come on, obviously that's it. So the Dreadnought precursors were like, yeah, interesting. So yeah, of course they're loyal because, like, yeah, we've talked about that.
As with most technology from the Dark or Golden Age technology, the Knights are immensely powerful, allowing them to run and fight as much as a Dreadnought would fight, but on a much larger scale. These ancient heroes have fought thousands of battles across millennia and stand ready to defend Imperial citizens and support Astartes anywhere in the galaxy. After the Knights we have the Titans, and Titans are the epic war machines of the Imperium. A Knight and the smallest Titan can be anything like 9-10 meters, but the big Titans can be anything up to 50 meters. They are gargantuan death machines.
Wow, that's so cool. Reminds me of the robots in Pacific Rim. Like, Pacific Rim, you've probably seen it. Great, I loved it. I loved that movie, it was so cool.
Many people believe that the Mechanicum were originally responsible for creating the Titans. This is not strictly correct. They do construct some Titans, but many they simply maintain. This is because the technology used to create Titans is very, very old, and like many things in the universe of Warhammer 40,000 for the Imperium, a lot of technology is merely maintained because of its complexity. Simpler devices are constructed, but this happens less and less.
Wow. Wait, look, I'm sorry, I just saw this in the background. Look at that, that looks so cool. Looks like half a cathedral is walking. How badass is that? Like, do you see this one here? Yeah, I think you can see it, like where the mic is. Let me put it a bit. Yeah, it's like, look at the size of that, of this giant walking church. Brilliant.
Mechanicum do create some Titans for the Imperium. Originally, the Mechanicus found versions that were completely autonomous, created in the Golden Age of technology.
So, I'm sorry, this is a figure, isn't it? Like, is this something I could buy? Like, not that I'm gonna buy this, because I'm gonna do research and then I will decide affection. But should I choose this, like just for like, is this something I could buy? Because this looks a bit like what I've seen before from these figures. Is this something like, and it's like if someone painted this, wow, this looks beautiful. Like this must have taken ages. Okay, so let me take a closer look, because I have the feeling that he will skip away from these Titan things. So they've got laser guns, laser or like this looks like plasma, this looks like laser, and this is obviously a machine gun. And their armor, do they have force fields though, or is that not a thing? Are they just heavily armored? Who knows?
Now, the portion of the STC database containing the data for the manufacture of the Castigator class Titan was also destroyed by the Mechanicus. It possessed AI, which is strictly outlawed and heretical within the Imperium.
Yeah, someone told me that the AI just rebelled and tried to kill humanity, which is, of course, it did. That's what it always tries to do, I feel so.
Secondly, it had somehow long ago been corrupted by living chaos energy, and for this reason, it could obviously no longer be supported.
Yeah.
Imperial records of this event, though, note that the cost of life and resources required to destroy this Titan monstrosity was severe.
Yeah.
The key point here, though, is that mankind was developing machines in the golden age of technology that would never again be equaled. They could.
Yeah. And again, this walking church, great design. And yeah, I wonder why, like, I don't know, it's so weird. Like a civilization falling like that, is that inevitable? Like, will everything great fall in the end? Probably, like, it just takes some time sometimes, but I think it's probably always like that, isn't it? That the great things fall.
Could be merely copied, emulated, or used as a template to work from in the future. But our level of knowledge, our rules and guides on what could be created, due in part to events that were yet to come, would very much limit humanity's advancement in the millennia that lay ahead. I mentioned a moment ago something called an STC. This denotes a device known as a standard template construct. These are one of the single most valuable objects in the galaxy for the Imperium, and their importance was no less during the age of technology.
Looks a bit like a 3D printer or like a replicator from Star Trek, I don't know. Is it something like that, or is it like a computer that like beams out schematics here?
So what is an STC?
Yeah, what is it?
STC systems were advanced AI computers created during the golden or dark age of technology, and are said to have contained the sum total of human, scientific and technological knowledge. STCs were created when human interstellar civilization was at its technological peak. Their original purpose was to enable colonists to survive on the new worlds they arrived upon, as they could not carry securely the mass amount of knowledge gained by humanity at this time, and even if they could, they might not have people capable of understanding how to utilize this.
I love that. So they built AI to be able to access their database and to understand it. It's like, yeah, we have Wikipedia, and there are pretty, like, there are, if I would read up on quantum physics, I would see the formula, but if I had no clue what they mean, like, it's just formula, and the AI could then understand and explain it and use it. I love that idea, because like knowledge of humanity is just so rapidly expanding nowadays. So such cool stuff. Yeah, that would be quite handy to have.
The STC solved this problem. It enabled the colonies to access all of humanity's knowledge and display it in a way for them to be able to create anything they needed from the resources available and solve any issue that could arise for them on the new home worlds, no matter the geography, resource limitations or climate. This would enable them to build anything from a simple lasgun to a fortified bunker, massive war machines, or an atmospheric processor.
Very interesting.
STC systems possess the ability to not just store information, but also to produce new designs to meet changing circumstances. They are immensely powerful sources of information and power, and consequently the Imperium places a high value on obtaining these lost relics of ancient knowledge.
But shouldn't they destroy them? He said there's an AI inside, and I know that they have something like the Butlerian Jihad. So AI is outruled, and he said it as well. Like he told me, AI is bad, heresy. So why look for them? Like, are there people that are allowed to look at them? Like, I would assume you would get killed if you look at them because you're a heretic, I guess, or curious.
Even though now, after many thousands of years had passed, most of the discovered STCs are damaged to the point they only contain fragments of their former stored information. But Imperial forces will still use any means or resources necessary to obtain an STC once it has been discovered, even if this means the sacrifice of legions of military or civilian Imperial citizens.
I mean, I guess,
From the golden age of technology and into the ages to come, these valuable systems will be lost or destroyed, so that now, in the age of the Imperium, they have become beyond rare, almost just a legend. So the
and like they're like a Swiss Army knife of God. So yeah.
Consequent discovery of remnants of any new technology from the Dark Age of technology puts an STC's value to humanity beyond estimation. The little knowledge that has been recovered from damaged STC units is then utilised, copied and stored by the tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus, who are based deep on the primary forge homeworld of Mars.
Yeah, I've heard that, and I will react to that down the line. That's one of the things I want to get in soon. The homeworld of Mars and the tech priests, mechanic priests, like those dudes. I want to learn more about those. After I've done the Emperor and after I've done some deep dives into the factions.
They believe that STCs are the most holy of artifacts and will seek and protect them at any cost. This little divergence is an important one because an STC recovery, no matter its state of repair, still remains as one of the most important objectives for Imperial forces in the 41st millennium. The holy grail of this quest, though, although unlikely, would be to recover an intact STC.
Yeah, that sounds a bit like a world tree. And that might be a bit far-fetched, but the world tree is also this like life-giving thing of ultimate like goodness, so to speak. I don't know why. Perhaps you disagree, but that's my association. Like, it's a bit like a world tree. I don't know why. Perhaps it's stupid, but
thereby gifting the Imperium all of the stored knowledge of mankind from the golden age of technology. If the Imperium were able to recover an STC of this standard, it would catapult the existing human society into becoming yet again one of the most advanced and significantly, if not the most powerful state in the galaxy.
Yeah, so this implies that the high age of humans, or whatever it's called, like the golden age humans are like above everything. Like above Eldar, Tyranids, Tau, Necrons, whatever, Space Orcs. Chaos. Interesting stuff. Interesting. So please confirm that for me if that's the case.
The STC Crusade also explains in part about the state of technology and development of the Imperium, in that much of the knowledge regarding tech is replicated or learned rather than invented and created. Although new tech does come along, it's not overtly specified why so little resources are put into research now. It could be speculated though, however, that mankind relied so strongly upon the Emperor in the last 10 millennia that now they believe only he is capable of directing mankind's advancement, and they solely focus on maintaining him and maintaining the state of Imperial affairs.
Yeah, that sounds likely. Also, it's like the scientists are now archaeologists, so to speak. Like, you dig it up. It's not like you invent anymore, because like it's also probably something to think about. It's like if there's something and you like pour billions of Warhammer dollars, I don't know, into something, into a project, and then like next day they discovered one of these archives, like a part of it, and it's in there and 1,000 times better or whatever, it's like, what was it? It's in this book called the chess novella. It's by a German author Thomas Mann, I think. And there's the line, everything that has been thought once can be thought up again, which is probably also motivation here, perhaps.
So we return to our story, and at this time, in the golden age of technology, humanity continues to expand across the galaxy. Initially slowly, as the gigantic starships we crafted were incapable of using the warp to traverse space. And as we learned previous, they took generations to reach their destination. They were essentially travelling worlds, similar to the Eldar craft world of the 41st millennium.
Yeah.
When these ships reached their destination, they would slowly be deconstructed, and their materials could be used to create massive war machines such as the Imperial Knights and Titans, which the colony could use to defend themselves against the dangers of the galaxy. Dangers such as the Eldar and Orcs, who were first discovered in this period as a result of our reaching out beyond our own system to more regularly explore the galaxy.
Okay, so Eldar and Orcs are the first ones we encountered, at least. That's what I assume from this.
However, interestingly, during this time, humanity was actually considered more powerful than it is in the 41st millennium. This strength was mainly due to our technology rather than actual physical forces, such as Astartes, who did not exist in this age. Science was humanity's primary religion, and the society of man perceived itself as having reached a time where no one could be a real challenge to us.
Yes, and that's true. Someone wrote that you can have like states without religion or something. Like, yeah, but my argument is exactly what they present here, or he presents here. It's like, yeah, science can be a religion. You don't believe in God as a all father in the sky, but you believe in knowledge as the ultimate truth, which is also a belief. Like, you believe that knowledge is worthwhile and striving for, and I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. Like, it's just like, technically you could class that as a religion, and I would, but others might not. And that's just, it's like definition mambo jumbo if you like start to argue about it, and it doesn't really go anywhere. But I just found it interesting that he put it like this, that he also said it's like science was their religion, which is a powerful religion to have. Let's put it in air quotations, because yeah, it's not exactly a religion, you know?
To a degree, this was actually true, so much so that the Xenos races of Eldar and Orc actually signed non-aggression pacts with mankind, which seems bizarre from the Orc point of view, but there we are.
Yeah, okay, that really sounds bizarre.
The discovery and use of interstellar drives, that is, an engine enabling cross-warp travel, now powered humanity's expansion and domination of the galaxy forward. A federated government was formed, enabling us to create a strong trade community and, most importantly, remain unified and powerful throughout our colonies spread across the galaxy.
Does that mean that the warp was brought to us by the Eldar and the Space Orcs? Was like Space Orc broke down with his or her warp drive, and they were just like, oh no, broke down, bad, go to humans. Oh, humans, can you fix? I don't know what this is. Can you fix? It goes fast and far. Can you fix? Perhaps. Let me actually look at it. Oh, this is genius. Yes. Note that down. Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah, we can fix it. Good human. Me not eat you. Bye. Okay, so that is probably not how it happened, but that would be fun. Anyway, let's not digress any further.
Aiding and supporting where necessary with either materials, logistics, or military. The exact form and nature of this federation is unknown from this time, as so much knowledge and history was lost. To speculate though, it seems likely that from the way in which humans would live at this time, the Federation would have focused more on discovery, science, and working to better humanity, as well as supporting our widespread colonies.
This looks like, and I have no clue, but this looks like they built like this pylon, this structure to like capture lightnings and use that as energy. Which on like worlds where there's a lot of friction in the atmosphere, like there's, and if there's like a lot of like, there are planets where there's a lot of lightning going on in the atmosphere. And I think one of Mars's moons has that, but I might be wrong. But there is a celestial body in our solar system that has a lot of lightning storms, very powerful ones. So this looks like it is built on one of those planets, and they just like, you know, funnel down the lightning into energy, which is, that's pretty clever. So I love those golden age humans.
As the societies we had seeded across the galaxy grew stronger and more developed, most humans would live long, peaceful lives where menial actions were carried out by automation, leaving people time to indulge in their own lives and dedicate themselves to the glorious expansion of mankind. This golden age of peace bears a stark contrast to the unforgiving brutality of the 41st millennium, the Imperium where many citizens are now born into lives that are shorter, work-driven, and even hellish by comparison.
Yeah, this looks a lot like a criticism of the industrial capitalist countries. Like, I don't know if you've read books about that, but those, like, it's horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. And I mean, nowadays there are people working like this. Like, perhaps not like collared and in weird suits, but people are like working for what, $1 a week or a month in mines. They die and they like don't have long lives. So yeah, that's what happens if you can't use machinery and stuff. Like, then you have to use human resources, which is absolutely terrible and terrifying and disgusting, but that's how it was. And that's how it will be again, apparently.
Back with our timeline though, and although navigators had now been discovered and enabled...
I'm so sorry, but what the frick is this wanted poster? Yaps. Bits Ryu. I don't know why, but why is the ding dong here in the background? Like, what is that? Is that a famous thing? Is that an Easter egg? Do we know who that is? Or is this just a random picture? Like, he's like, I'm not gonna look at your poster. I'm looking the other way because I can.
Interstellar travel, psychers, that is humans with strong psychic ability, had for the longest time evaded or simply passed undetected.
Oh, interesting.
It would be in the age of technology where this new class of human would finally be identified. These psychers seemingly largely avoided the demonic possessions which had occurred for the old ones, Orc and Eldar. It is unclear why this would be, but again you may speculate that the Emperor had a role to play in guiding and shielding humanity through this time. As we know, he had always lain in the shadows, ensuring our safety and creating small influence until he felt it was necessary to come to the fore. Another possibility is that by comparison, the Orcs and Eldar with their more advanced psychic powers simply shone brighter.
Ah, yeah, okay, that might be because they like, of course, light with higher intensity attracts more moths. I think, is that how it works? Anyone know? Perhaps. Sounds logical.
As we know, the demons of the warp are actually attracted to psychic power in real space, like moths to a lamp. And so...
I'm sorry, what? I love it. He's thinking like me. I love you, Luetin. He's probably called Luetin. UE is probably an U. I like the way he's thinking. I mean, okay. So you don't have to tell me anymore. It apparently is like that whatever. Let's go.
They appeared amid the depths of the galaxy, a brighter beacon for the chaotic creatures to be attracted towards, whereas the human psychers were very early in development. Their powers were less attractive. They did not stand out so much. These psychic mutations were initially limited to only a few individuals per billion or so humans. But
what's like? Is he very determined? Is he like in pain? Is he vengeful, or is he like, who's Rodar? I don't know what he's doing. I mean, what is he doing? Like, and why are they always like throwing lightning? Are they throwing warp and that looks like lightning?
Toward the end of the age of technology, psychers would appear throughout the colonies more widespread than ever before. And some colonies who were advanced and open-minded, they could see the potential advantages brought by human psychers, and they were protected and allowed to develop and explore their abilities. However, on other, less advanced human colonies, they were often killed and hunted down as the people here feared rather than embraced their divergent powers, much of, similar to witch hunts.
Yeah, and that makes sense, because if you think about it, even if they're highly technologically, that's even worse. Like, if you're highly technological and there's someone who can, like, do telekinesis or whatever, or throw lightning, you're like, what? What the frick are you? You know what I mean? It's interesting. But he said less developed world, so perhaps it was not like that.
As I hinted at earlier, one of the reasons during the golden age of technology that humanity was able to not only survive, but stretch itself out to colonize and conquer worlds in the galaxy, not to mention defending itself against aggressive Xenos, would be due to their reliance on AI and the machine creations of the time.
Yeah, okay, so of course, like, they relied on technology, and that effed them, because the technology probably effed them, and then they were effed by everyone else, and then the great effing began, I guess.
However, as nearly all science fiction dictates, these primary sentient machines in the Human Galactic Federation would be known as the Men of Iron, and they would
Oh.
stereotypically turn on their creators and enter us into a cataclysmic war.
Of course.
An STC containing a template for the Men of Iron was discovered by Imperial forces on a chaos-controlled world.
Oh, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Yeah, like AI is like the Sorcerer's Apprentice, you know what I mean? It's like, don't play with fire. Though, yeah, what I think is pretty terrifying about AI is that it wouldn't think like humans. It would think, but it's another way of thinking. You know what I mean? It's like so unpredictable and weird, and you can't foresee what it's gonna do because the structure of thinking is so different, which is why I think AI is so terrifying.
It became apparent that much as the Castigator class Titan, the Men of Iron here had also been corrupted.
Oh god, corrupted Men of Iron. That sounds so horrifying. Look at this dude. I mean, that is obviously where they stole Kylo Ren's mask from. It was not the other dude, Revan. No, it was this dude. This is where Star Wars stole that thing from. Just I can't think of anything. No. Stupid joke, but yeah, they look badass. Like they like. And what is this like? What is the structure? Why do they have it? And what are these symbols on the cloaks? Like the thing is with these like drawings, pictures, artworks, I'm not sure if the symbols and stuff are just like the artist's imagination or if they are official. So like I guess the skull insignia and stuff are, and the eagles, the Roman eagles, and the dual-headed eagle, they are like official canon. But this might just be someone being like, yeah, let's do some golden stuff on his cloak. Great.
By chaos, and the AI of these creations was sentient, so we can perhaps speculate that the Men of Iron initially resented their human creators, but combined with this were also corrupted, possibly by chaos, which
Oh, wow, interesting. Yes, that's cool. But how? How could chaos corrupt them? Do they have emotions? Like I have certain theories on how this could, like, I would have a great explanation for this. I'm not gonna give it because it's probably stupid, but that makes it. I can understand how that would be if warp is what I think it is, but it might not be. So I will not digress here. But that's so cool. So they might have been corrupted. Interesting.
at the time was relatively unknown to mankind, hence the lack of any documentation to support such speculation. It is, however, a possibility and stacks up with what we know of the corruptibility of human AI creations. Also, the intent of the dark forces of chaos to obliterate humanity once it became aware of its existence.
Okay, so we're not aware of its existence at first, but wasn't chaos like fighting the old ones and stuff? And shouldn't chaos be aware of everything that like happens in the warp, perhaps? Like, I know they were not that attracted to the Psychos, he said that, but why would chaos not realize instantly that there's humans when they started using warps? Or is it like they were paying attention to something else, perhaps? Perhaps.
Regardless of the reason, though, this war was one of the greatest disasters to befall humanity and would rage for centuries.
Yeah.
The exact length of the war is not recorded.
Larry and Jihad.
The conflict was eventually won by humanity, but at a great cost.
Yeah, like they probably took some EMPs and just nuked them.
The damage caused by this conflict to interstellar human society was
yeah.
hugely destructive. We would lose masses of knowledge and technology, not to mention devastating humanity's economic strength and political unity.
Yeah.
The war would begin the series of events that would lead into the collapse of the Federation of Humanity at the end of the Age of Technology.
Wow.
As so often is the case, very little information exists from this time, largely due to the Imperium being so wary of a similar disaster happening again. And this is why, amongst the Imperium and mankind, you'll find only the simplest forms of AI. It is viewed as being exceptionally dangerous technology and is strictly outlawed.
Yeah, there are like probably different types of AI. Like there's this pseudo AI, like we have pseudo AI. Like the AI we have is not really sentient, you know what I mean? But it might be in a like different kinds of AI might become sentient. You know what I mean? That might be it. So they might know a bit about that, and that's why and how they can regulate it, and perhaps the Emperor knows as well.
A substitute is often to combine human and machine into mindless drone-like beings known as servitors. Servitors are the Imperium's cybernetic servants, lacking true self-awareness, and are created from the bodies of either condemned criminals who are unpleasantly lobotomized, or vat-grown humanoids whose bodies and brains are partially replaced with machine systems.
Jesus fucking Christ, mate. Why? This is so disgusting. It's like almost as bad as the fucking the Tleilaxu tanks, how they were created. Like look at this poor sod, man. Lobotomized, like whatever. I mean, it's not stupid, don't get me wrong. It's pretty clever to use like that's what you probably know that you all like, because I think that's knowledge in science fiction circles, that the first idea for the Matrix movies was not to have the human bodily warmth be the thing the machines wanted, but the idea was originally that the machines enslaved the humans for their brain power, so they used their brains as circuits, like, and that's why the Matrix was there. So, but yeah, that's a good idea. Like, why not take human computers? Disgusting as fuck, but
as a result of this catastrophic conflict between the men of iron and humanity in the golden age of...
Oh god, look at that. That's so disgusting. I need a horror movie about that, or a game. That's so disgusting.
Technology is now considered one of the most severe crimes in Imperial society to develop a self-aware, artificially intelligent machine. It is just considered too dangerous to even consider. Around Millennium 23, the warp was taking hold of psychers and wreaking havoc on human colonies.
What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? What are these designs that's so horrifying?
Feudal night worlds were more conservative and less abiding of psychers, as we said previously, who had hunted them down. These would fare better than the others, who had adopted them more open-mindedly at the time. The knights in their semi-titan armour would battle massive warp entities and serve to protect the planet's human population, abiding to their strict code of feudal discipline and ability.
How could they battle warp entities? I thought warp entities were emotions. I have to learn more about the warp, because I love the warp concept already. Like, I have no clue, but it's gonna be so fire if I know more about it. But yeah, how could they battle them? Like, how could, like, wouldn't the warp always win? Because it's like emotion thing, matter, or whatever. Like, it's immaterial, I know, but...
Very often, they would be the bastions that protected mankind's worlds, and their importance cannot be underestimated at this time. As is often the case in history, it is not one, but a series of disasters that leads to total ruination, and this was no exception for the glorious empire humanity had established during the Dark Age of technology. Whilst it was struggling to recover from a collapse in its unity, as well as destruction of many of its resources and its ability to trade efficiently with other worlds, a new disaster would occur that would see the end of humanity's golden age and instead throw us further into near total annihilation.
Oh great, peachy. And what is it?
The race of man would never again reach this golden pinnacle of technological achievement.
Wow. 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 Okay, that's it for the video. Like, I'm not going to watch any further. I'm just going to talk about what I just saw, which is absolutely awesome. Like, it gets better every video. Like, this was my favorite one by far. It was so well constructed. And if this had been like if this had been the end of the story, that would have been so good. Like, if this was like, it was almost as if I listened to a book. And this is the best, I think this is the best thought out future story I know already. Like from starting from 21st century going forward, you know what I mean? It's like, there's not a lot of holes. Like, yes, there's mystery, and of course there's like science fantasy stuff in there a bit, but the way this is structured, it makes so much sense. It's like, that's why I love the Matrix, Second Renaissance. You might know that the Animatrix series, and there's this one that's like it depicts what happened between today and the movie The Matrix, and it's like this greatly structured narrative, and this is like that on crack 1,000 times better. I love this. This is so good. And I'm halfway through the video, and this is my third video. Like, what? Can't even think properly. What's in store? What's still to come? I love this. It's so cool. Oh God, I'm so glad Henry Cavill got fired now. I hate that he was fired, but now that's how I got into that. And it's like I read he wants to do a universe, and I can't wait to watch horror movies where like all of this, like these weirdo creature deformities are explored and stuff. There's so much potential. I can't believe how much potential there is. So well done. So well done anyway. Anyway, that was it for today. We will continue next time with the Age of Strife. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you like this reaction, consider liking, subscribing, sharing perhaps. Yeah, like this is so good. Like it's so good. Don't know what to say. Like I have to think a lot about this. And what I really enjoy as well is what I said before. What I had the hunch when they talked about the biology of the Space Marines. I had the hunch that it like was plausible, and all the physics stuff. You're like the colonization stuff, and that was so well done. Like that was so logical, and that gave all of this gives me the feeling this might be the future. You know, it really might be the future, which is something no other fantasy has done yet to me. Like it was always like this. There was the setting in the future, and there was this gap that was like there, so we don't think about it, and we just have the future setting. But this is like, yeah, you know, let's just predict the future. I love that. I absolutely love this. So I will soon watch more of this one. So this was not basically not about the Emperor. It was just human history and why it all went to shit. So great stuff. Great stuff. Anyway, I really hope you have a great day. As always, take care of yourself, and yeah, I will see you soon. I hope probably in 2 days. So I will release these every other day, and be my guest. Watch them and comment also on what you thought about this stuff and what brought what's the thing that brought you into this universe. Like, was it also like accident? Like, did you by chance find out about it from some random superstar being fired? I'm still salty about that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Henry Cavill. Anyway, have a nice day. See you soon. Bye.